So now that I've given you an outline, we're going to penetrate a little bit more and we're going to get some details. We're going to start first in the Ming period. And the reason is because the researchers in Japanese ninjutsu and the art of the ninja and the history of the ninja have, for some reason, not noticed what was going on in China at the same time. So I'm going to start off right there. So while the Sengoku period was raging in Japan and there was the flourishing of the ninja and the ninja arts, the same thing was happening in China. I'm not sure why we haven't looked at it, but there it is. It's staring at us in the face. So we start with a group called the Ye Bu Shou. Now the Ye Bu Shou are of interest to us because the Ye Bu Shou are entirely a military operation run by the government, created by the government. There is no private sector, shall we say, involved in this. And that's interesting to us because it matches very similar characteristics to the ninja in Japan. And they're operating at the same time. In my humble opinion, there was collusion between the two. There may have even been a use of each other's forces at times, but there's only some scant evidence for that. I haven't got the whole story yet. Ming Dynasty China had created a top secret military unit called the Ye Bu Shou. If I may read to you, they were pretty much unheard of because of simply the nature of their duty. It was top secret. And the Ye Bu Shou, which literally means unreceived by night, it could mean unsheltered by night, but what we prefer in our research is to use a slightly older meaning, which is unrestrained by night. So if you say that again, the Ye Bu Shou, a military unit, top secret, called unrestrained by night. It already paints the picture. Anyway, their job during the Ming Dynasty was to protect China on the northeastern border. And the main problem was the Mongols and the Manchu tribes who were constantly causing trouble in that area. They were a serious military threat, and the Ye Bu Shou were placed there to sort them out. So the Ye Bu Shou didn't operate under a unified command. Each garrison, border outpost, commander, they maintained their own specific groups for their own specific purposes. So anything that was primarily night activity and had some attached importance with the military saw the Ye Bu Shou in use. They mounted short-range reconnaissance patrols, engaged in unconventional warfare behind enemy lines. They carried out espionage activities such as sedition. They instigated defection wherever possible. They also acted as forward scouts for the Ming Dynasty army during the seasonal Shao Huang. Shao Huang was the burning of the fields. So the Ye Bu Shou and the other military would go off into Mongolia and Manchuria, and they would burn everything. The reason, to stop the nomads grazing too near the China border and obviously causing a lot of trouble. The duties of the Ye Bu Shou were obviously physically very demanding, and the agents had to be extremely fit. They had to have courage, strong will, and they had to have local knowledge. That was quite important because they're operating behind enemy lines all the time. That meant they had to have knowledge of the foreign custom, foreign languages. So if courage, strong will, and a hardy type character were necessary, and these were taken from the border communities and sometimes, as I said, members from the enemy forces. One of the prize characteristics that was employed by the Ye Bu Shou was that of stealth. And anybody wanting to join the Ye Bu Shou had to demonstrate already some degree of stealth. So it's quite interesting that they say that, because you sometimes wonder, where did these people get these stealth methods prior to that moment of doing the interview, so to speak. The Ye Bu Shou were actually recalled after every half year and underwent further training and performance assessments. They had further strategy updates and so on. So it was pretty sophisticated. Some commanders also demanded the Ye Bu Shou train alongside their regular troops and stay current with current normal soldier battle skills. Their duties were accompanied obviously by great risk. The Ye Bu Shou were among the most well-paid troops of the Ming army, earning double the pay of a normal soldier. If they were killed on duty, their families were compensated for the loss of the male in the household, and it was quite a lot of money. So this was an added incentive. So a Ye Bu Shou guarding a warning tower would have been equipped similarly to that of any other soldier, like his comrades in the field. They would be lightly armed, carrying signal cannons and paper bombs. However, scouts and spies that operated deep inside enemy territory were dressed in Mongol clothing. They rode Mongol horses, and these agents operated far from the main Ming army and had to forage for their own supplies and be completely self-reliant. These operatives would operate obviously 24 hours, but during the daytime they would hole up and they would disappear into the grasslands. At nighttime they would emerge. That meant that they often had clothing that was brown or khaki on the inside, and on the outside was black, or I should say it was reversible. So at night it would be black, in the daytime go down to brown and khaki. Now their equipment ranged from concealable horn bows with bamboo poison arrows to swords and grenades for the standard night raids. So while the Ming dynasty raged on and they employed the Ye Bu Shou to protect the northeastern border, you have this military unit that matched pretty much exactly what the ninja were doing in Japan at this similar time. But be warned, it's not the end of the story. The story is vast. This is just the tip of the iceberg.